So we've got some updates in regards to the prawn tank here. As you can see, some of them are missing their bigger appendages, and one of them, I believe it's this guy right here, has even lost the better part of his nose, as you can kind of compare from right there. Now, why is that? Well, I do believe I have found a correlation between their behavior towards each other and recent developments in the tank. Now, the fine details in regards to why this change has caused this for the worse, I'm not entirely sure. Now, these are aggressive invertebrates. They do actively hunt. It's part of their nature. So I thought, they're getting to that age where they probably need a higher protein diet. I will get them some feeder guppies, some cheap guppies that they can actively hunt and eat. And actively hunt and eat they did. It actually has changed the color on some of them. Some of their forearms have turned a very, very bright red. I think if we can zoom in, there we go. See, red, and then some of them, their body color is actually turning red as well. Now, for whatever reason, when I put the guppies in here, they became much more aggressive towards each other. Now, I am still feeding them their pellet food, which is specifically designed for invertebrates, and they do eat that. They still actively hunt. There was 24 feeder guppies in here originally, and now there are maybe 10 left. It's hard to count. They're pretty small, and they're always all over the place. And, yeah, for some reason, they just do not get along now. So, I haven't lost any of them in terms of their life. I mean, losing appendages is not unexpected for a territorial and slightly aggressive invertebrate. We see that all the time with crayfish, and normally, as long as they're all well fed, they leave each other alone. At least that's my experience with crayfish, and that has been my experience with the prawn up until I added the feeder guppies. Now, something about the feeder guppies has caused a change in the behavior of the prawn. They actively are now hurting each other. Well, I shouldn't say actively. They've become more territorial. Not in the sense that they're killing each other, but that they are arguing with each other now. So, like I said, I haven't actually lost any of my prawn due to this experience, but they have lost limbs. Now, those will grow back in a few molts, but some of them, you'll see, are just more worse for wear than others. That one's got all of its legs. This one is missing a few. So there's a good chance that some of them will be not so well off. I mean, there's some that are actively hiding now. Oops, I hit the night shot button. Sorry about that. Some of them are actively hiding now. But I think they're all going to be okay. Just not sure why there's suddenly aggravation since adding feeder guppies. So maybe that caused a hormonal response between them, and they're just kind of reacting to that. But once the feeder guppies are gone, I'm going to go back to just feeding pellet food and see if that changes their behavior, because they weren't doing this before. And there isn't any notable change in size or in terms of to the point where they're getting towards the age in which they spawn. They've got a long way to go before they're sexually mature. So I'm not sure what would cause this. It's something related to the feeder guppies. Something about that. Not sure what, but I'll just have to keep an eye on them.